Good evening, all. Hope you're having a great weekend. It is Sunday. It is the 1st of June. I can't believe I'm saying that halfway through the year, basically. 1st of June, and it is 2005. All right, my friends. So looking at these markets, what an interesting time. Let's go to some news that came out over the weekend and get to the reports first for the morning. In the morning, you're going to get the final May manufacturing service sector, PMI. You're going to get construction spending, and that's going to be for April. It's always backward looking here. That's at 9 o'clock. The ISM will release their May manufacturing sector index, and that's at 9. None of these reports are major. What is major is steel and aluminum import tariffs are going to go up all of a sudden on this Wednesday from 25% to 50%. And Iran, there's major issues. The IAEA has found that Iran was not telling the truth. They have a lot more uranium that's upgraded now to 60%. It's a hop, skip, and a jump, according to them, to 90% grade, and that would make nuclear weapons, by the way. It sounds like it's a lot. They claim it is not. This is going to be a big issue this week that is coming up. You know that whatever happens, the U.S. is trying to make a deal with Iran. How do you make a deal with them when they don't tell the truth? I don't get it. I am of the opinion, that's why I waited. I wanted to see if gold jumped on the news. It is up $15 tonight. So that gave me an idea. Bonds are getting a little bit of a bid. The dollar got a small bid. Oil jumped a lot more, though. And oil jumping a lot more when you had an increase by OPEC for the month of July. They came out and said they're going to go with another 411,000 barrels additional. So they put on 1 month 100 and some odd thousand more. Then they did 411 in addition to that. Then they did another 411 in addition to the 411 and the 100 and some odd. And now they're going one more. So they're getting back to near 2 million barrels that are going to hit the market very shortly. And that is their goal. I wanted to see if the market would fall on it because that's bearish news. It's up $1. So the market, I think, is squeamish about what is going on with Iran. What's Israel going to do about this? Because they're not going to let them get a nuclear weapon if they can stop it. So I think you're getting very close to a situation. One of you requested from me, everybody writes in with their names, as you know, that are different on YouTube and so on. So I don't know who's writing me. They're funny names. I think this was Gustavo. And he had a great idea. Let's cover MP, a company I've never covered. MP Materials, they engage in the production and the marketing of rare earth specialty materials. You know, over the weekend, we heard one thing. The president complaining and Scott Bessent that China has not lived up to their deal. The rare earth materials, they have found ways to make it so slow, nothing's coming out. And this could stop car production, airplane production, because a lot of things count on these materials. And one of the major producers in the world of it is China. This company is located out of Nevada. It manufactures here, so it made sense to look at it. When I look at it, this chart doesn't look bullish. I think you'd agree with that. So I got excited because I said, okay, I'm not looking for a market that's already run. Maybe this one can run. And that's how I approached it. So I'm just looking at a weekly bar chart. You can see how the market came down. The swing line is still bearish. You have lower highs, lower lows. That's still in a bear mode. You had an outside week up where you made the lowest low of the whole move. So it's really a key reversal week up. And as long as you don't take out that low, maybe you're setting up a bounce of size that could happen here. The market didn't quite get to the 100-week average. I think it can get back to the 18-week here, and that's going to be the measuring part now for the market. If it can start getting there and play around for a week or two, you might have something of interest that develops here. Notice how the market for 3 weeks fought at that Bollinger Band and couldn't stay under it, and that is typical of what I teach in my enhanced Bollinger Band course. And then when you put the slow stochastics oversold with that combination, reasons for the market to see short covering taking place. Now, is there new buying? I can't answer that question. The market's certainly not in a buy mode, but it is in a mode to cover shorts, to have covered past tense the shorts. CME, new highs. Trading volatility is picking up. The Merck has a lot of new products coming on. They keep developing lower priced futures. They call them minis, then micros. And the reason is because the full-size contracts, as the market goes up in value, become worth so much more. They find ways for the public and for hedgers to come into the market. This is on a tear to the upside. It's got an embedded reading. My friends are in this. Obviously, I was a member too at the Merck. So you've got things like that going. In Netflix, higher lows, higher highs. You can see how the market has come up all through here. You're embedding. I love Netflix. I'm waiting for a break, and it's not giving it to come in. If you can't get it on your terms, you have to make a decision. Do you just buy it blind? Nah, inevitably something happens, and you can come back in on your term. That doesn't mean you'll get it at the price you want, but I'll get it in the chart area. Would I want you to buy up here? Yes, if you're embedded. Are we embedded? Both numbers are over 80 this week. Last week, both numbers were over 80, and the week before. So the answer is, if you can get a good break this week or next week, I think it's something you take a hard look at. They're bringing on so many sports programs, children's programs. I mean, they're becoming everything for everybody. It's like they're their own mini cable station, but they're not a cable. They ride on the back of the cable. In Lilly, still nothing happening here. The market comes down on the weekly chart to the 100-week and the Bollinger Band area. It doesn't accelerate from that down, but it doesn't come up and it's oversold. I don't see anything there. Home Depot, all right, this is what I'm expecting now. I want to see it spin. Have you gone into your Home Depot store? They're jammed. So I'm looking at what's going on. I went there today because I was doing housework, and it's jammed. And that's what you want to see. I also was there yesterday. I'm doing so many projects. Got to go back and forth, which I enjoy doing, by the way. I love doing projects. It gets my mind off of all this. I'm not looking for it to get much under the 100-day average. If it is, there's more of a problem. They say they're not impacted with the Chinese tariffs. We'll find out. Uber. I think Uber still. Accumulation back at that 18-week average if it can get there, but that's $6, $7 away. The market's not embedded. I'm not interested yet. It's overbought. It's something we're watching, and I do have in my subscriber video, I have my clients long this market if they followed the recommendation. We're tracking it there because we told clients to buy. In Dutch Brothers, I still love this company. And I think that anything here in the 66.10 is what the market's trying to say it has value. You don't want to see it really back under the 50 level. But from where that's at, that's quite a drop that it would have to make. I mean, think about it, 25% drop, why would it do that? So I still like what I'm seeing to the upside in this market. In XLI, the industrial sector, be careful, you're up at the upper Bollinger Band, you're overbought. I'd be cautious. A lot of tariff talk, a lot of not getting along with China at this point. The president needs to get some deals done. Remember that Japan wanted to get the deal done with the United States before the G7 meeting, which is coming up now. It's about a week away. So you've got that. We'll see what happens in the UN, as I just said, with Iran. That's going to be interesting. But I think that, this market's still humming. And we saw, as Scott Besson said today I think it was Face the Nation, inflation coming down to some of the lowest levels we've had. And he argued, if you look at personal income, it's up. So he was arguing with Margaret Brennan about the fact that while she says inflation is here and others say it, it hasn't been. And he said the only thing you can look at is the data, not what people say. It was interesting when it came up with Jamie Dimon, and he said, Jamie says a lot of things that don't happen. He said, but that's why he's a great banker. He's looking for what could happen and the bad parts of that if they come true. That's what a banker does. In XLE, on the energy sector, we are holding in right here at the 200-day average. There's nothing bullish about this chart. There's reasons to not be short right now, but if you get under 80.72, that all changes. You can then have lower highs, lower lows, and you're opening the door to come back down to 76.71, and the market is not in oversold condition. In the dollar index, I think if you get under the lows of not this week, the week before, you opened the door up to go down again. Other than fears about what could happen if Israel, I'm not saying the U.S. attacking, Israel's got a lot to gain by going after that uranium, and the U.S. can stand back, especially if the U.S. provides them with those bunker bombs that can go down and take out some of the facilities. And I'm sure Israel by now knows where every facility is located via what's going on in there. Lower highs, lower lows, and by the way, speaking of that, Hamas is again not accepting any of the deal that is given. They demand that in order to make partial release of more prisoners, live and dead, that there has to be an end to the war. I get that, by the way. I do see their point of view on it. The problem is they can argue for that. They got to agree that they're stepping away from government, I think. Israel will never allow them in that. And the president, our president, doesn't seem to mind that. Lower highs, lower lows. GLD, as you can see, gold slipped, but I'm telling you, it's up tonight a little bit. It'll be interesting in the morning to see if traders have reason to jump on gold or not. I, again, think it's all about this point in time, two elements. Iran, certainly new element, still inflation. Inflation's, I don't see us addressing inflation at this point in time. Lower highs, lower lows, and you can see the battleground. You're overbought in this. I'm not saying it's a buy, but it's certainly not a sale. In the copper market, good news over the weekend for China. Their manufacturing PMIs went up. Now, they're not at expansion level yet, but they came up from, I think, 48.5 to 49.3. Anything over 50 is expansion. The market went up on that about 9-10 cents a pound in copper as you opened up. So that gets interesting. You got to keep your eye. And you see that right here on that. I think copper down back in this area is starting to say, okay, there's your value area. I don't like that it's overbought. That's the problem. So, and there you go with other charts that I've got. That's Bros, by the way, that I was working with earlier on the weekly. So when you put this all together, you try to come up with what it might work for you. I recommend you go to iraepstein.com, free offers. You'll see the icons right up here. Give them a click and away you go. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great day, what's left of it today, and I'll catch up with you first thing in the morning, as that's where the action's really going to come into play. I'm Ira. Take care.